campaign to be the Republican candidate for the U.S. presidency back on track. He scored a convincing win in the New York primaries. Meanwhile, his Democratic counterpart, Hillary Clinton, also won by a big majority over her rival, Bernie Sanders.
We don't have much of a race anymore, based on what I'm seeing on television. Senator Cruz is just about mathematically eliminated. And we've won another state. As you know, we have won millions of more votes than Senator Cruz, millions and millions of more votes than Governor Kasich. We've won, and now, especially after tonight, close to 300 delegates more than Senator Cruz. We're really rocking.
You proved once again there's no place like home. In this campaign, we've won in every region of the country. From the north to the south to the east to the west, but this one's personal.
Well, Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher is following all the developments in New York and joins us live now. So we just heard Donald Trump saying we don't have much of a race anymore. Is he right?
Well, he wants Ted Cruz and John Kasich to drop out. He believes that it's time for the Republican Party to coalesce around one candidate, and that candidate would be him. When he says that Ted Cruz is almost mathematically excluded, what he means is that between now and the end of the nominating contest, Ted Cruz really can't get to the magic number of 1,237 delegates that's needed to secure the nomination. But what he can do is make sure that Donald Trump can't get to that number either. And that's certainly the plan of Kasich and Cruz. They realise that at this stage they're not going to win the nomination before we get to the convention in Cleveland. But what they want to make sure is that when they get to Cleveland, it becomes a contested convention. That would mean that all the pledged delegates that are committed to candidates at the moment have to vote for those candidates in the first round of voting. But if no one gets to the magic number, then those candidates are free to vote for whoever they think would make the best candidate. And we think at that stage that would be really the high watermark for support for Donald Trump. And so he wants the others to drop out so he can get to 1,237, but they're not going to do it. They're going to continue to work away because there are many people in the Republican Party who don't believe that Donald Trump would be the best candidate. He, of course, says, look, if you get the most votes, even if you don't get to the magic number, you should be the one who is the candidate for the Republican Party. And a new poll issued on Tuesday would seem to back that, with 68% of Republican voters saying, look, even if you don't get the required number of delegates, if you've got the most votes, you should be the candidate. That's something that Donald Trump would certainly endorse.
Now let's look at the Democrats now. Hillary Clinton was always a favorite in New York, but she did not just win, she won resoundingly against Bernie Sanders. Where does it leave him?
Well, he, of course, went back to Vermont on Tuesday night. It was really, we were told, so he could take a break and decide where to go from here. Others believe that he may be considering his position in the race, although publicly the campaign is saying they continue and they go on all the way to the convention. But a big win for Hillary Clinton. That really puts the nomination almost out of reach for Bernie Sanders at this stage. Now, people say, well, of course, there's all the superdelegates who pledged their support to Hillary Clinton, and they may swap their vote on the basis that they see that Bernie has got widespread popular support. But you have to remember that a year ago, not only had most people not heard of Bernie Sanders, he wasn't a member of the Democratic Party. And the superdelegates will be asking, well, what has Bernie ever done for us? He hasn't been involved in fundraising. He hasn't talked up the Democratic Party. So why should we help him out now? So he's got to look to perhaps just make sure that he can continue in the race for a little bit longer. What he has done is change the conversation around the Democratic Party platform, because now people are talking about some of the issues that he raised. Reform of Wall Street. How do you pay for college for children in the United States? All of those things are more widely discussed now because Bernie Sanders got into the race, and he'll be hoping that that conversation continues until their convention. But there really is no way forward for him now. Hillary Clinton is all but the nominee. Who she'll face in November, well, that's still up for grabs. Donald Trump would like it to be him, but there are others who are determined to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Alan Fisher in New York. Alan, thank you.